I am here with Ben Turnbull, recent graduate of the Business Accelerator. Ben, tell us about you. Where are you from? What do you do?
I'm from the northeast of England, so I live in a little town called Darlington, which is near Newcastle. I've grown up there all my life. I've got a little girl, so she's 16 months now, so she takes up a lot of my time. It's really changed my perspective on how I look at things, which has been a big difference in, like I say, really in my life, and it's changed how I look at the world. Currently, I work full-time in human resources. I've got a full-time job there, which I'm comfortable doing it, but it's not really pushing me, which I think is part of the reason I've gone through the Business Accelerator process and sort of joined the academies, because I was looking for something a bit more, something where I can really challenge myself and really push myself. So through that Business Accelerator process, I've started my own company called Habit Mastery, which really looks at sort of the disconnect between, there's a lot of people wanting to make changes in their life, whether that's healthy eating, exercise, meditation, all those sort of things. And there's a lot of information out there on what we should be doing, but there's a real disconnect between people aren't doing it. So it's looking at how we can really help people to take action and really put a process in place whereby people can make those changes.
Powerful. And why London Real?
I think probably a little bit different to many people. I didn't actually stumble across London Real at first through the podcast. I actually was looking for like a group of people who could help push me forwards, who would really keep me accountable. And through that sort of search, I stumbled upon the academy. So that sort of was my first introduction to London Real. And then from there, I went through the podcasts and started watching them all, and really sort of bought into the message and was really intrigued by the guests you had and the way they looked at the world and how I could take that and apply it to my own life. And then through there, I joined the academy. And again, really it was a great bunch of people. You know, I think for a lot of people out there, they're looking for that group of people, but it's difficult to find it. I know personally for myself, that was really what I was looking for, was that group of people to really push me forward, and everyone's sort of driven in the same way. They're all trying to achieve things. And then through that process, I sort of became more familiar with yourselves and was made aware of the Business Accelerator course, which I joined. And again, that was really just a real, it's almost like a life-changing sort of 8 weeks really for myself. So that's how I sort of became familiar with London Real, and that's the sort of journey I've gone through with the London Real process.
How did you make the decision to actually join the Business Accelerator? You know, it's an investment of time and of money. What made it for you?
I think at first, I've always had sort of business ideas and thoughts about, oh, that would be good to do, I'd like to do that. And I've always thought, I haven't seen myself longer term in a 9-to-5 job. I've always seen myself doing something a little bit different, sort of entrepreneurial. And I saw some emails come through, sort of advertising the Business Accelerator, and I thought, that really appeals to me. But I was at first a little bit concerned because I didn't have a set in stone idea of this is what I want to do for my business. And I watched an interview you did, one of your Real Talk episodes with the Halal Paleo gentleman, and he was talking about he went through the process and he didn't have an idea at the start, and that's what made me really think, actually it's not about the idea itself is almost secondary, it's the process itself that matters. And that was really the tipping point that sort of made me decide to do it. And again, I sort of realised that, yes, I could say, oh, I'll do it in a year's time when I'm a little bit better prepared, or I think I'm going to be a better place to do it. But you can always say, I'll do it tomorrow. You've got to do things today and now to really make a difference.
What were those first couple weeks like on the course?
They were pretty intense. But I think, to be perfectly honest, that's something. It was a good intense. It was something that really sort of made you think, this is a serious course. You know, it's not some fluffy sort of 8-week process. It's real work, which is what you need to do, and it's a real process. These guys have got expectations. You know, the real deal, the serious. So you've just got to get on and do what they're telling you to do. And it was really, I think it was a bit of an eye opener to sort of say, look, if you want to make this happen, you're going to have to get used to this sort of balancing, you know, work and this extra work. And it's not something that's going to go away. It's something that you're going to have to get used to and learn to accommodate and learn to thrive under. So it was really, it was eye-opening, but I think it really sort of widened my eyes to this is what you need to be doing.
What did you think of the community, all the different class members around the world?
For me, that alone was worth sort of the course fee itself, just that group of people. Everybody there, a bit like the academy, is really driven. They all want to, make a difference to themselves, make a difference to their lives, and they're all striving to achieve something. And I think there's people from that many different backgrounds that they'll all look at the world slightly differently to how I would view it, and they're all bringing their own knowledge and their own, view of the world, which you can then take and apply, and it really makes you think about what you're going to do, and they're doing something over there which I can look at and apply in my own world, in my own business. So it's really a phenomenal group of people.
And what was your first win?
Well, I think the first win was probably signing up for the course and just committing to, I'm going to do this. And then as the work progressed, it was, I think every week is almost a bit of a win. And speaking for myself, I've always wanted to do entrepreneurial things, like I said, but I think you always doubt as to, are you capable? I don't know how to do it. It's not something I was familiar with. I think every week you're sort of building that self-belief and thinking, actually, I can do this. I can make vlogs, I can make videos, I can do pitches. And while it might not be perfect at the time, it really just sort of widens your mindset as to what you can achieve, which I think every week was a little win, and that's the way I think you've got to look at it if you want to really get through the course.
Biggest challenge on the whole course, of all the things we teach, what was the hardest thing?
Of all the things we went through in the course, it was the vlogging. I think I'm somebody that's actively avoided cameras for probably my whole life. I'm not somebody who would go up to people and share openly what I was doing, not because I don't want to. I think maybe it's because I'm more of the belief that people might not be interested in what I'm doing. So I'd rather keep things close to my chest and maybe unveil them at a later date. So those vlogs were really, I was really scared to publish them on my Facebook page. That was probably one of the scariest things I've ever done in my own head at first. But really the benefits, it sounds maybe it's a bit over the top, but that vlog series really did make a big difference to how I look at the world. If I want to do something now, I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter if people tell me you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. I'm not as concerned about what people are going to think about me, how they're going to judge me. If I want to do something now, I'm just going to do it. That's not to say I'm not going to listen to people. I'm going to take advice on board, but at the end of the day, it's sort of helped me focus on what I want to achieve.
What do you think are going to be your big takeaways from the course? What do you think you'll be using for the next year, or 2 years, or 5 years of your life?
I think the takeaways are really split into two different camps. There's the business side of things, which I think the biggest takeaway from that really was the system. So rather than looking at all the elements individually, which for me was a big learning curve in itself, it would have taken me years and years to pick those things up by myself. It's really thinking about how they all link together. So, it's no good having really good social media presence if you haven't got a good product to sell, or you're not actively selling on webinars and converting your leads. So it's really looking at how all the pieces fit together. I think, I'm sure you can pick up the little bits yourself, but it might take a hell of a lot longer. It's really how they all link together and looking at that process itself. And from the business side of things, it really did just open my eyes to sort of how to do things properly. Now I look at things that businesses do or people are doing on social media, and I can see, yes, that's a pitch, or that free book they're offering me is a free product to try and entice me to buy the product with prospect sort of thing. So it's made a monumental shift in how I look at business, and really it's given me the tools I need to sort of take my business forward and apply to even different businesses. It's really the process itself rather than the business. I think it's the key to it. But on the other side, I think there's broader life lessons to take away. So things like I was saying about the vlogs, not worrying about how people are going to judge you. If you want to do something, just plan it and execute it. Don't worry about how people are going to judge you, what people are going to say. And it's really helped me get comfortable with doing things I'm a little bit nervous of or a little bit fearful of. And just really focusing on, look, it's going to get done. What's the worst that could happen? If something goes wrong, we'll learn from it. We'll redo it and we'll go again. So they were the really big takeaways for me.
Hmm. And how do you think, you've grown as a person overall on the whole course? How are you different?
It's really altered the way I look at everything now. Like I say, a big thing for me was when I look back at sort of even the last 20 years before that 8-week period, I've spent far too much time not doing things because it's not the normal way to do things, or my friends might think it's strange or it's odd, or it might not go down well with my friends and my family. It's really made me think and really changed my life in a way. Like I say, don't worry about what those people say. If you want to do something, just focus on doing it. Seek out people who will help you and just execute it.
Talk to me about the Ben who didn't take this course right now in December as the guy that did. What's the difference between those two people?
I think the Ben who didn't take the course would be in exactly the same place now as he was 4 months ago and probably was a year or two ago. I think it's almost been the action that's kick-started everything else. It's changed my whole mindset. It's changed the way I think about myself and what I can achieve, and it's changed the way I look at the wider world. And it's really given me that belief now that I can go out there and I can achieve what I want to achieve. So it's really been a monumental change.
And to someone thinking about taking the course, not sure either way, what advice can you give them?
I would honestly say just do it. It doesn't matter if you've got an idea or not. You'll learn the process for business, but more importantly, you'll learn how it can affect your wider life. You'll finish a different person to when you started. And there'll be so many takeaways that you can apply to your wider life that it's a no-brainer.
And you have amazing energy, and I think it's funny for me to hear you don't like being on camera, because that's your greatest asset. And as soon as you are, I think people are like, wow, okay, this guy's got something to say, I want to learn from him. And so I'm super excited for your next year. With everything you learned on the course, with you being in our inner circle, it's just going to be just super positive. As long as you keep getting uncomfortable and producing a lot of content, I think it's only a matter of time.
Hopefully, yeah, and I'm really confident now that I can achieve what I want to achieve. And I think, like you said there, another big takeaway from the course is learning to feel uncomfortable. I think it's something that, speaking for myself, I've probably actively avoided. Whereas I think it changes your whole way you look at things when you sort of think, actually, that discomfort's really helping me grow. And a lot of the fear you have about these things, it's in your head. And if you look at what's the worst that could happen, and if you look at the real positives you can take out of the discomfort, it really helps you tackle any obstacle that's out there.
Yeah, it's been awesome having you on the course. Thanks for contributing so much with everybody, and really looking forward to this next year.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, thank you, buddy.